Hey everybody, M.V.K here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing on their end? Hope everybody is well, as always. Here to finally deliver, as always, my overview of TMNT. Season 2 wrapped up yesterday, or Friday, with a 1 hour special, 1 hour event, so basically 2 episodes. And it's kind of funny because season 3 kicks off next week, this Friday, or so, I think, yeah, the 3rd or so, which is pretty interesting, you know. And the fact is, not only are we getting a season 3 is gearing up, they've already have a season 4. So all in all, this has been really good for the Turtles in a sense, because as of lately, you don't see animated shows get a lot of, seasons. And I'm not talking about shows like, Cartoon Network shows that, like, Adventure Time and things like that. I mean, those are great, but they're not 30-minute episodes. They're just 5 minutes, an episode. These are 26 30-minute episodes a pop, and nowadays you don't get to see that too much, not too often. Not saying it doesn't happen, but you don't see it as much. And they've already got advanced seasons already, so I think, say what you want about this series, but it's been pretty damn good in my opinion. I get friends that contact me on Twitter and on Facebook and always ask me, did you see this episode? And I'll tell them, yeah, I saw it. I'll tell them how I felt about it. But here, guys, I'm here to give my overview of the entire season 2. Was season 2 better than the first season? Yes, indeed, it was. You really can see they really started to get the ground working. They got the ground work done with the first season. Now it's almost with the second season was more of paying homage to, in a sense, what came before this series. This is the 3rd animated series, I believe, and we got to see that in this series. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how I felt about what they did with Casey Jones, Irma, how they did the Krang, the villains. I'm going to also talk about what I want to see in the future of this series. And of course, I'm going to talk about what happened to Karai. I'm also going to talk about, in a sense, that last episode. I'm going to talk about that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and just listen to the Omni Geek High Lord of New York run his mouth about a series and a group that I've been reading and loving since 1984. Okay, so let's see. Like I said, overall the season was great. There were some filler episodes, but still those fillers didn't, pretty much in a sense, divert the show in a sense. We've seen series that have had filler after filler after filler, and it made the series either like, okay, move on, like get back to the main story. But in this, it didn't. It was just like, okay, we'll take a little time off from the main story and give you a little filler. And some of them were entertaining, some of them were just like, they were just there. For example, for me, was probably the filler episode prior to the 3rd to last episode, with the whole Emperor, that character that came out of the Jade dagger. I was like, it was okay. It was an homage to, Big Trouble in Little Tokyo, Little China, and things like that. So I was like, all right. But I did enjoy this season a lot. You got to see more characteristics from the Turtles, even more. For example, Raph dealing with his anger issues, things like that. Leo really coming into grips with the fact that he is the leader, and he has to accept that. Donnie, in a sense now, even though he has feelings for April, he's still kind of coming smidgetly to, smidgetly to terms that he and April can never be. Mikey just being Mikey, even though Mikey's my favorite turtle, it's probably because of the nunchucks. I've trained with nunchucks. I've trained with all the weapons of the turtles, but I think the nunchucks is my favorite. But and Mikey even having some spotlight in this season, especially big time at the end, especially the end of the few episodes. They really started to spotlight on Mikey a lot and showcasing that he's not just a one-dimensional character. He can be serious and things like that and care, and we saw that a lot. When they talked about that they were going to introduce Casey Jones into the series, let's talk about Casey. I knew right away that he wasn't going to be older. I knew that they were going to try to keep him in that same age bracket as April, and I was fine with it. And it's kind of funny that he's voiced by I think he's Josh, who used to be on Drake and Josh. That's who he voices. He voices Josh. The actor who played Josh voices him. And I think they really played up the fact that stereotype of a hockey player, he's missing like half his teeth and things like that. But, the whole, he wore the hockey mask, but underneath he also had his face painted. And I was like, okay, this is different, but I like it. And you saw that episode where he and Raph, went at it once again, homage to, the first movie. It was like, you could really see that the people behind it was like, showcasing, yeah, we remember this, and things like that. We got to see that. I did enjoy that. And, of course, the main thing, of course, was also the coming to grips of Karai really figuring out. That was also the main thing. Karai finally figuring out that Splinter is her real father. And you saw the turmoil it played on her emotionally in the series as well. You saw that. It was like, in a sense, does she accept Splinter, Amato Yoshi, as her father, or does she just forget everything she learned from Oroku Saki, the Shredder, and you saw that. And, she had to come to grips with that of her own. And once again, and I thought that was brilliantly done. There were times, like I said, throughout this series, this series has been good because there are times you're looking at this and you're like, I can't believe this is on Nick. Like, there's some strong, like, issues in this that is not just, kid-like. And I gotta applaud them for that. The coming to grips of, also, we got to see, changes in some of the villains. For example, Dog Pound becoming Razor, Baxter pretty much finally becoming the Fly that we all wanted him to become. And I'll tell you right now, he looked fucking creepy as hell. I swear, if I saw him chasing me or running at me, I'd probably get in the fetal position and because I wouldn't want him touching me. He just looks like them also pretty much helping April cure her dad, because remember, April was kind of like didn't want to be with the Turtles for a while, because of what happened with her father. We saw a lot of that. We saw a lot of, they wrapped up a lot of arcs in this season and still kept the main story going, in my opinion. And I enjoyed that. And of course, the main focus we all was hearing about it was the Krang invasion. When was this invasion coming? And finally it happened. And boy, did it happen. This was the last season we got to hear Jason Biggs as Leo. And, I still don't know really the real reason why Mr. Biggs left as Leo. You know, I thought he was a good Leo. I thought his voice matched Leo pretty well. I thought that, I think maybe it was, you know, him committed to other projects, and you know, he couldn't stay committed to this. You know, I've heard all kinds of rumors. I don't know which one is true, but you know, for all intents and purposes, I thought he did a good job. And you know, I will be behind Seth Green, you know, as Leo. I want to hear how he sounds. I mean, I've heard, but you know, we've heard Seth Green voice, but if he can be anything as serious as he is, let's say him playing Joker from Mass Effect, then I'll be all for that. But I've never really watched Hulk, because I know he voices A-Bomb on there, so I'm not really into that, so I've never listened to what he sounds like on there. You know, we've heard him voice characters like Nelson Nash from Batman Beyond, so he can deepen his voice, and you know, it still sounds cool. So I am looking forward to seeing. They said he does a good job. The people that worked with him said he did a good job, and you know, they'll just, you know, you could say, well, they're being a little biased, but we don't know. You know, he could be. But when I heard that Seth Green was gonna, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give him a chance. You know, but yeah, Jason Biggs left after a certain, I forgot what episode he left on, because later on you started hearing another actor voice him, and I'm forgetting the actor's name, but there's even a chance. I don't even understand why they just didn't keep him as the voice. He was fine. I was like, okay, he's cool. We also one of the also things in the series that I thought was really good was the introduction of Tiger Claw, another villain. He was the anamorphic Tiger Man, and of course, I don't care what anybody says, Usagi Yojimbo's coming. He's coming, and there's no way, no how that Tiger Claw's tail didn't get cut off by him. There's no way. That was too much of a coincidence of saying somebody cut off his tail without saying Usagi Yojimbo. No way. So we all know he's in this world. We just need to see him, and I hope they do a good job with him. So yeah, you know, it's there. But I thought he was cool. Like I said, you know, he's a mixture of, I guess you could say, you know, a couple of what's the Star Wars character? I'm trying to remember. I was about to say Jabba the Hutt, but no. It's off the top of my tongue. You know what I'm talking about, guys. I apologize. But he reminded me of him with a little bit of other characters, but you know, when Splinter fought him, you know, it was kind of a different story. The fight scenes in this season was really good. They really choreographed the fight scenes really well. We got to see more anamorphic, you know, mutants, like the pigeon, you know, and, you know, I was hoping that we would see more of that. We got to see other players, that we got to see where Shredder gets his weapons from in an episode. And that character that was that thief character, what was his name? Anton Beck, I think that was his name. I was thinking when I saw him, I'm like, okay, he looks familiar. The look looks familiar. And then once again, bam, I'm like, please tell me he's going to be the future Bebop. Because I'm like, that dude, look, he had the purple mohawk. He had the shades that Bebop wore. And I'm like, please let that be. They're going to mutate him into Bebop. He'd be a different kind of Bebop, but I would accept it. And things like that. But we didn't get to see that. Some of the major factors into this, guys, that I thought were really good was, for me, seeing Slash come to grips with the fact that he has a family, in a sense. The fact that he doesn't need to be the loner, and he shouldn't be angry at, you know, the Turtles and Raph and all of them, and knowing that those are his true brothers, you know, after he kind of was teaming up with, I think it was Tiger Claw. So it was kind of interesting to see him finally say, you know, and Corey Feldman, did such a great job with Slash, this version of Slash. I like it. I don't hate it. I think it was cool when he first appeared. I was like, oh shit! I was like, oh man, that was so badass. And I talked about that episode too. Even though I don't do weekly reviews of the show, there's sometimes where I will talk about maybe an episode that just really stood out to me. In this season, for me, at first it was Wormquake. That stood out because it was not only it was a good episode, but it was also, we got to see, especially for my generation, we got to see the original 80s Turtles and all of them, Cam Clark and Rob Paulson and all of them come back to reprise their roles, and it nearly brought a tear to my eye to see that, because like I'm witnessing my childhood again. It was so great to see that. As short and sweet as it was, but it was really good. I enjoyed that very much. They didn't make a joke out of it too much, as they did in Turtles Forever. I liked the movie, but I think they really played too much of it. It was like putting down the 80s Turtles, and but in this they kind of was like, okay, they look different, and, April looking at herself and like, wow, I look big. But I enjoyed that. Wormquake was a good episode. Like I said, Karai definitely had her big stint, and then of course the big, bam, what happens to Karai, and she gets turned into like a snake-like mutant, and she's also able to morph back into like her human form, like put on an extra set of skin. And she does, as you saw, she still knows that Splinter is her father, but it's almost like she's trying to control the snake in her or so. And you kind of see that Shredder did care for her, and you saw how he was with her. You saw how he was after she was supposedly killed. And Shredder in this was just really good. Kevin Michael Richardson does a good job voicing him. This is a good Shredder. It's a good blend of what we want in Shredder. A man of mystery, danger, and intelligence. He's feared. And, I thought that was really well done as well. And we got to see that, especially in that last episode, he don't give a shit anymore. He don't care. It's almost like Karai keeps him kind of slightly on that path of, like, in a sense, to care. But he don't care. He doesn't give a damn. You heard the words he said at the end. This is how I vision the world burning. I'm like, god damn, like, yo, this dude's crazy. The Roseanne voicing the Krang Prime is just hilarious to me. I'm like, you got Roseanne voicing the leader of the Krang. That's funny. That's funny to me. While you have everybody else who, the Krangs that do, when the Krang must do this, is done by, who does the voice? The same voice who does, the same actor who voices, oh God, what was his name? I'm blanking out on their names right now. These voice actors. I apologize, guys. I can't remember his name now. But he voiced Superboy in Young Justice. That's who voices him. I can't believe that, but it is. Let's see what else I want to talk about. Like I said, the villains were good. It was good to see them come to who they really are. The Purple Dragon are there. They're gonna be like the punching bags and the comic relief of the villains now. It's alright. Out of the villains, I think, for me personally, I would get rid of... I'm not really too fond of Fishface. I'm like, get rid of that guy. Get rid of him. Keep Razor. Keep Tiger Claw. If anything, I would love to see them bring Toka in there. That'd be kind of cool. To replace Fishface. If you want an anamorphic, aquatic mutant, then yeah, get somebody else. Because it's like, I want to take him serious, but I can't because of his big face, and he's got the legs, and I'm like, I can't take him serious too much. Even though he is kind of cool, but I just can't take him too seriously. He makes me laugh. Anytime he comes on, I'm laughing. You know. Let's talk about Irma. We saw Irma in the first season. Like, we saw she was texting. April was texting with her at one point. So it was like, okay, Irma's here. Then we finally get to see Irma. And they made Irma kind of gothic-esque. You know, she's kind of goth-esque. And I'm like, oh, I was like, okay, compared to the Irma from the 80s, this Irma's like way different, and different in a good way. You know, because in the 80s Irma, she was always let's just call it like it was. Irma was fucking horny. She just wanted the pipe so badly. She didn't care where she got it from. If you look at it now, and you watch that classic, the 80s classic, go back and watch and tell me Irma she just wasn't looking for the pipe. She was just a horny secretary. But in this version, it was totally different. And we should have put two and two together, because Irma kept constantly saying, when am I going to meet these secret friends? And I didn't put it together until this episode, the last episode, finally. She kept saying that over and over. Plenty of episodes. Anytime Irma guest starred, it was like, yeah. Like, why does she keep saying that? Why does she keep saying that? You know? And then finally, April has no choice but to bring her to the turtles, and then all of a sudden, bam! What a dun 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 moment, where we find out that Irma is nothing but a pretender, pretty much. She's the wolf in sheep's clothing. I think pretender's better. She's a Krang, voiced by Gilbert Godfrey. You know, and it was crazy. The invasion episode was probably the most like gut-wrenching and sweet but tragic episodes ever. Not just between Shredder, the fight between Shredder and Splinter, but also, I don't think Leatherhead's dead. I'm gonna spoil that right now. I don't think Leatherhead was killed by Shredder. I think he's just maybe knocked out. I don't buy that he's dead. It takes more than that. I mean, this Croc or Gator has been through too much for me to think that he's dead. But I'm not gonna lie, he was fucking Shredder up for a while. I mean, he had Shredder in his mouth, just biting down and tossing. I'm like, and they're showing this on. And I'm like, this is Nickelodeon. I mean, you got a Gator man just going chomp chomp on all of Shredder's lower body, and I'm like, yo, that was interesting. And we once again showing more homage to the classic comics, as well as it happened before. We see, them literally fuck up Leo. Leo got fucked up at one point, and they showed like he's busted up. He's got black eye. His shell was cracked. It was like, whoa, they actually showing this. He got tossed through the window. We've seen that before in the previous Turtle cartoon. Remember, in the previous cartoon that used to come on Fox. That happened before, and then we saw it previous before that in the first movie. But instead of being Leo, it was Raphael. So we got to see that. I thought it was cool how they took down the Krang Supreme, Krang Prime, with the Turtle bot. I thought it was going to be bigger than that, but I was like, oh man, it's not even, but I thought it was good. Donnie stepped up a lot in that. That was kind of cool to see that. But it was sad. That episode was really sad. It was sad for Splinter. It was sad for Leo. We saw just how much, as always, as we all know, we got to see how much the bond that these four have for each other. You know, they're brothers, and and you see them looking at Leo like, oh my God, And then when the foot surrounded April's dad's apartment, we saw them kind of step up. I mean, Mikey, he's like, "This is for my brother." He's like, it was like, whoa, you're seeing that stuff, and when that was happening, I was just like so happy to see them like that, because I want to see more of that. I like seeing when one of them gets hurt, the others step up, and they step up big time, and it becomes almost like they are their fuel. We see that a lot with the Turtles. When one goes down, the one that is maybe incapacitated, they are the fuel that makes them burn even brighter, makes them burn even harder, and they fight harder and train harder. It so happens to be Leo this time, and of course, then it was also between what happened to Splinter, And let's face it, guys. Shredder, he's fucked up himself. He ain't walked away from that fight unscathed. But he just pretty much, in a sense, got the last laugh in. And you saw Raph just really like pissed off. You finally got to see that anger again from Raph, because we haven't really been seeing that lately. Him really kind of going off the deep end like he usually does. So he's kind of kept his anger in check. And but like I said, this season has just been really good. Some great moments. There have been times where I wish, there were some of the other, classic villains. I mean, they did the Rat King, and they brought him back, and it was cool to see Rat King back. But hopefully we'll see more, especially with this. I mean, the invasion kind of still going, in a sense, because it's not over. But the thing about it was, what happened to them afterwards, I knew once they got into the car and they left the city, and this is the end. I'm sorry I'm spoiling this, guys, if you haven't seen it, but I knew right away, off to the farm they go. I knew right away, and April didn't even have to say anything, but I knew it. I was like, off to the farm, they're going to the farm now, and it's like, that's cool. But I enjoyed season 2. I thought this was great. I don't mean to run off the mouth. I'm nearly past 30 minutes more. I'm sorry, guys, I ran off the mouth, but I just needed to give my pieces on a lot of stuff, and I thought it was really good. The last thing I want to talk about real quick is kind of what I want to expect in the future of this series. Hopefully April will kind of be able to control her abilities more. Maybe we'll see her really get down to her ninja training even more, where maybe she'll start looking like the April wearing the yellow and black jumpsuit and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. I really want to. I have a feeling the Turtles will be reunited with Splinter. We know Splinter's not dead because he was saved by his daughter. Hopefully we'll see what goes on with Karai. I want to see Usagi Yojimbo. I want to see Bebop and Rocksteady. That is a pair I want to see, definitely. I think they could introduce the frogs. That'd be kind of cool. Rasputin, Attila, and all them. And it would be really cool to do it because once again, it could be done. It can be done, just maybe a little different. But the thing was, in the original series, Shredder made them kind of, in a sense of dealing with kind of being a copy of the Turtles, and been like, well, since Splinter has them, I'll make these, and he named them after his favorite characters, Attila the Hun, Genghis Khan, and people like that. So, Rasputin, people like that. I want to see more aliens, not just the Krang, but maybe the Triceratons, Tons. I would love to see them be brought in. Maybe, and that's when you could really start getting into the Triceraton, invasion, or tournament wise. I think it'd be cool to introduce some of the mutants that have been coming in the comic series now. or maybe even some from the past old comic series, like when Turtles were still under Archie comic. They had the Fox. What's her name? I'm forgetting her name. Maybe Mona Lisa, could come in. Just more mutants. I definitely want to see more mutants, allies for the Turtles, because they're gonna need it. And there's so much more I want to see, but I'll just leave an open mind and see where they go with that. But like I said, Bebop and Rocksteady, I definitely want to see if they can do a different twist to them. Great. Like I said, I'll take them. I'll take it however they do, but kind of keep the essence of them a little bit. The thing about it is, the next episode, season 3, kicks off next week. This week, next week, Friday, and it's all of them coming to grips of what's happening now. But really good season, loved it. I give it out of 10. I give it wouldn't say perfect score, but I give it a close 8.5 out of 10 or 9. It was close to being perfect. I got what I wanted, and I'm hoping they continue to give us what we want in the next future episodes. From season 3 to season 4. Hopefully it gets renewed for a 5th season. I would love to see this series go on at least 5 or 6 seasons, and then you can wrap it up right there. But other than that, guys, you guys tell me what you thought about season 2 overall of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or you like me? There was some episodes that you were like, mainly the filler episodes, but you love the main story episode that kept that going. But other than that, you guys take care. I'll see you guys next time. This is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real, guys, as always. I'll catch you guys on the flip-flop. You guys have a blessed day. I'm out.